Hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Today I'm going to be talking about the film The Meg, as you might be able to tell by my big shark shirt here. Um, the Meg is loosely based on a film just titled Meg. I think it actually is a series of books. And in this movie, The Meg, you guys, it's about a man who survived a submarine attack which regarded a giant shark. He had to make some tough choices and leave a lot of people behind in order to survive this attack. Um, But years go on. He's just kind of living off a beach and drinking all the time. But someone that he knew from that submarine mission comes back to ask him to come back to the ocean to take care of basically the same shark that happened in that attack. And at first, he kind of turns it down and things like that. Then he finds out it regards his ex-wife and all this other stuff. And there's the fact that it is the same shark, and he can actually help out in getting rid of the shark and things like that is kind of what convinces him to go back. So he gets this ocean place where they study, ocean seafloor life. They manage to go down to an area that hasn't been explored yet just because it is that deep in the water. And unfortunately, that is where this big Megalodon shark lives. But because they go down so deep and they discover a new area and they basically unlock a way for other creatures in that ocean floor area to get out of that area too, the Megalodon shark is now out of the area. And so they have to figure out how to get rid of the Megalodon shark. Jason Statham plays this guy who survived that submarine attack certain years ago, and because he has such experience with deep seafloor levels, like he did with the submarine that he was in at the beginning of the film, they want to use him and his knowledge as to how to, get down there. They want to also use his knowledge to kind of figure out how to get rid of the shark and things like that. So throughout the course of this film, they have to figure out how to get rid of this giant shark before it gets to a beach shore, and there's people there, and they have to figure out how to get rid of it and kill it off, and hopefully it won't cause as much damage as something like that could potentially cause. And this is something that happens over the course of the film, The Meg. So overall, guys, I really enjoyed this film a lot. Um, it's a film that's been in development for a long time. At one point, Guillermo del Toro was going to direct this film. Another point, Eli Roth was going to direct this film at one point in time. I think he was going to go for like a hard R rating, which this film does not do. But John Turteltaub, who worked on the National Treasure films, ended up working on this movie. And like I said, I really enjoyed this film a lot. It's fun. It's adventurous. Um, it's just a great shark movie. It just makes sure that you has fun the whole time, and it's just a really thrilling shark movie that does a lot of thrilling things, and I just had a lot of fun with it. So let's go over some positives and negatives of this movie. First and foremost, there's some really cool shark scenes in this movie. Just scenes where they kind of use point of view shots like they did in the first Jaws movie. There's scenes regarding other sharks that, in a way, kind of help out the humans in ways they couldn't find to help out. Um, Obviously, the scenes of the Megalodon are really neat. There's scenes where the Megalodon can push over ships and things like that. So just the overall shark scenes really felt really cool. So as far as a movie that has really cool shark scenes in it, probably one of the better ones we've had in quite a while. Probably next to like 47 Meters Down and some other shark movies that we've probably gotten over the past couple of years. I also really like Jason Statham's character. He always talks like this in his movies and stuff like that. I really like the character he played in this movie. Definitely typical Jason Statham. He's the action hero who definitely is, not afraid to speak his mind, and he'll tell you if he likes or doesn't like something that's on your mind while trying to kill off the shark and things like that. I just really enjoyed his character. I thought he was a fun action hero type character like he normally plays. I thought he was great for a role like this. The film also does display just how fierce the megalodon shark really is that they find in the ocean. This shark will eat whatever it wants. It will eat other sharks. It will eat people. It will eat ships. It will eat anything that basically gets in his way. So whatever you think about great white sharks is about times 1,000 for this shark. If a great white is hungry, the megalodon shark is even hungrier when it gets hungry. They really show the fierceness of this shark over the course of this movie. Jason Statham falls in love with an Asian lady while he's at this new ocean layer before they go down and get the Megalodon shark after all these years of um, escaping that submarine and things like that. So at this, for basically his new sea team that has to take down the shark, there is an Asian lady in that, like I said, in that team that he falls in love with. Um, I thought she was a very interesting character. She does things throughout the movie that kind of prevent the megalodon shark from doing things that are worse than it's already doing. She also has a little girl at this sea base that is really adorable, really cute. For the scenes where they do try to do humor, I thought her daughter had probably some of the better comedic moments in the movie. There's even scenes where she's trying to encourage Jason Statham to go after her mom since she doesn't like her dad and stuff like that. So I thought it was a fine love interest. They don't really do a lot with it. It's not. It definitely doesn't turn the film into a romance film for those who are worried about that direction and stuff like that. But like I said, fine love interest. She does cool things throughout the movie, and obviously her little girl is very adorable, very cute, and very funny throughout the movie. So I was pretty pleased with all two of those characters all around. I also thought this was just an overall cool shark movie concept. They go and explore a sea level base that hasn't been explored yet. That's regarding a big megalodon shark that they got to kill off and stuff like that. I've always been fascinated by the fact that what seems, at least back when I heard this anyway, like maybe 5+ years ago, that the ocean has only 10% of our ocean has really been explored. Just because certain sea levels are just so dangerous to explore when we get down that deep. So I like how the film The Meg kind of explores that unexplored area that we have yet to explore as human beings here in real life. Um, Thus creating the possibility that maybe a megalodon shark could still be around and stuff like that. So I just thought it was a cool concept to work with. Like I said, I like the idea of unexplored ocean water kind of bringing this shark back from the dead and really causing some damage if something like this were to happen and stuff like that. So cool shark concept, really happy with it. Um, cool idea for a movie. I also thought this was an overall really adventurous film. You really get a sense of adventure in this movie, and I think what helps that is the fact that John Turteltaub did direct the National Treasure movies. So as a result, we get a really fun movie just like those movies that really does feel like we go on a big adventure over the course of this movie. For my negatives of the Meg, though, I felt more time could have been spent with the Megalodon shark itself. Um, sure, the Meg shows up. Sure, they do a lot of cool things with the Megalodon shark. It just kind of takes a long time to get there, though. Even on that submarine attack, like I mentioned here earlier, that happens early on in the movie, um, we really don't see the megalodon shark during that moment. We really don't see the actual shark, I would say, maybe until about 45 minutes into the movie. And for me personally, I thought that was a little too long to wait for the title character to show up in the movie. Like I said, they do a ton of cool stuff when the Meg is actually in the movie, but it kind of takes a while to get there. And like I just mentioned a second ago, the Meg really isn't in this film until about 45 minutes in, I would say. And it is called the Meg, and just the fact that there's things going on for it before and while the Meg's not on screen and stuff like that. But I personally felt, as someone who paid money to see a shark movie, there's just a lot of moments where, and a lot of stretches of time where the Megalodon shark doesn't show up until quite a while, and that's something that kind of bothered me in this movie. Um, and overall, I wasn't really too frightened by this movie. It was one of those things where, 47 meters down really got you terrified of sharks. They put those two girls in a terrifying situation in that movie. Jaws really makes you afraid to go in the water. And when you're in the water, they make the shark very terrifying. When you're watching open water, those sharks are terrifying. Yeah, the shark could come and get that couple at any given time in that movie. With the Meg, I really didn't sense any kind of fear. Maybe that's just because it was so adventurous and fun to watch this movie. I don't know what it was, but something about, you'd think with something even bigger than a great white shark being in this movie, you'd think it would be twice as terrifying. And for some reason, it's not. There's something about, maybe it is because the CGI is kind of noticeable on the shark. Maybe it is the fun vibe the film provides. I don't really know what it was, but I just didn't really feel too frightened by this shark, really. Um, so, like I said, based off of, Jaws and 47 Meters Down and films that are using smaller sharks like great white sharks, and this is a megalodon shark, which is 70 feet big. I don't know. For me personally, I think this should have felt a little scarier than those films, and it's not for some reason. And that goes into my next point. Some of the CGI is pretty noticeable in this film. I would say one shot alone where they're in like a shark cage trying to figure out how to get rid of the megalodon and stuff. When the megalodon swims by the shark cage thing, it just looks fake. It really does look fake. There's just a lot of moments where you can tell that you're watching fake sharks and stuff like that. So it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. Some of the CGI in this film is a little noticeable. It's good in certain areas, but very noticeable in others, I should say, too. And overall, the humor in this film, when it tries to go for it, is kind of weak. Rainn Wilson from The Office has a role in this movie. I liked his character. You can tell he's trying to make the film feel fun. His jokes really fall flat, though. There's just a lot of scenes where he's trying to crack jokes. You can tell they were trying to go for like a crowd gut buster laugh, and it just really doesn't work for certain moments. So comedy-wise, I wasn't super impressed with the comedy they use in this movie. So I can't recommend it on a comedic level. Like I said, the little girl in this film that's the daughter of the Asian lady is really funny when she's given the right moment, but the overall humor in this film is pretty weak overall. So overall, I'm going to give The Meg an 8.5 out of 10. I really like this movie. I think it's a great shark movie. Not quite in the level of Jaws, not quite in the level of even a 47 Meters Down, I would say, which I personally really liked back when that came out. But there's, like I said, really enjoyable shark film. There's things about it that aren't the greatest. Like I said, more time with The Meg I would have liked. The CGI could have used some work in certain areas of the film. The humor was kind of weak in certain areas. And like I said, nothing was really too frightening in this movie, and it's a 70-foot shark. You think it would feel kind of frightening, but for some reason it doesn't feel that way. So 8.5 out of 10 for me. I recommend The Meg. Go in knowing it's not a perfect film. Go in knowing it's not the best shark film you're ever going to watch. But I really enjoyed this film. 8.5 out of 10 for me. I do recommend The Meg.